This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go. All right, Bruce. I have like this fun challenge. I want to hear about what your first job ever. So we have these little criteria. First job ever. Mm-hmm. Oops, I'm hitting the mic. Sorry.
Okay.
Your weirdest job ever, and like your I don't know, worst, like your least favorite or like
Sure.
horrible.
So first, worst, and weirdest jobs.
First, worst, weirdest. Yeah.
Okay. This is
or
great.
whatever stories, because I think we've talked about a couple of them throughout, but just to have like a one-time
a place
overall
for all of this.
conversation about jobs that we've had, give a little insight to our listeners about us.
This is good, and I'm very excited about this one because I've had so many jobs.
I know. When I was thinking about this, I was like, God, I've had so many jobs. I can't even think of what my weirdest was, because it's such a wide range of what I've done.
Years and years ago, I stopped counting at like 33, and that was kind of where.
I don't even.
That's where
when you're doing a resume, it's like, how far back do you want me to go? Because I could go. And then they start asking you something. They're like, well, I did this job. And they're like, well, that's not in your resume. And I'm like, well,
would you put it on your resume?
Yeah. Would you put this job on your resume? No.
Right.
All right. So let's start with, do you remember what your first, like maybe high school or out of high school job? I don't know when you started, but.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So my very first job, my first like legit job, the first time that I ever did any kind of work and got paid for it.
Not like chores or
this was like
things for your relatives.
There was this one-off thing at Christmas where I had to make my dad sent me to some lady's house to make like Christmas crafts.
Okay.
And I got like, no money for it.
But like
whatever.
a paycheck.
First legit job.
Or you pay taxes on.
Yes. First legit job that I ever had. I worked at Friar Tuck's Turkey Legs.
What?
At Six Flags in St. Louis.
Like the huge, like
theme park.
Legs. Yeah. Okay.
So I was at the theme park at Six Flags.
Okay.
This was way back when in the 90s. And
way back in the 90s.
And they had us wear these uniforms and we were dressed like Friar Tuck. I had this green, like, frock. Okay. Basically, it was a like shirt a big, and like some brown pants.
Thing. Okay.
And Six Flags was so big that they did all the laundry in the wardrobe. So you put the stuff on, you gave it back to them, they washed it, whatever.
Nice.
But Friar Tuck's Turkey Legs, the big old turkey legs.
Yeah.
So I was in charge of selling them. I was in charge of cooking them and selling them out of this little shack.
How do they even, are they like in a big oven?
They have these huge ovens that are like, I don't know, 6 feet tall. And you open them up and you put in the racks with all these.
Yeah, okay. I wanted it to be like an open flame.
Man, I loved turkey legs.
I know that. God.
You know how sometimes they say when you work around a certain type of food all the time, it's going to burn you on it?
I don't think that could be.
No,
turkey legs.
No. Oh man, it was so good. And working at Six Flags as a teenager, there were hundreds of other people my age there.
It's like the perfect summer. Was it just like a summer job?
I did it for a number of years.
Okay.
I want to say, man, it's life is so cloudy. I'm trying to remember, but I thought I worked there 3 or 4 summers.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And, I started.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great. I started out at Friar Tuck's. I ended up moving on to.
Did you move up through the ranks at Six Flags or?
I don't know if it was moving up.
You moved around.
I moved. Yeah. So I moved. I really wanted to do something in the entertainment department. I was just really feeling that. And, they said, well, we have special promotions. One of the things is, at the time at Six Flags, and I haven't been in years, so I don't know what it's like anymore, but they had characters that people would be dressed up as like Bugs Bunny or Foghorn Leghorn or whatever, and they would come out. Well, I was too big to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So Bugs Bunny was always a small female. Mm-hmm. The Tasmanian Devil was usually somebody much shorter than me.
Yeah.
So whatever. So I went and I auditioned for something and failed miserably. And then they came back to me and they said, we've got these, we do these special events every so often and we'd like you to do one of these. It's in August. we want you to do this. So August in Missouri is Hades.
Gross.
Yeah. So I said, okay, I'll do it. They said, it's a Duracell promotion. We're going to dress you up as Battery Boy. Oh, well, sure, you probably don't know what Battery Boy is. I didn't either, and I've never heard of him since. But it is a giant Duracell battery. And it is like this fiberglass kind of giant battery that I would put on these tights that were built into a hula hoop.
Okay.
They would have me lay down, put them on my legs, stand up, and pull them up.
Okay.
They would take this fiberglass Duracell battery and put it down over me like I was getting into a space shuttle.
Yeah.
And then there were holes in the front for my arms to my elbow. So I could move like my stubby arm out the front.
Did you have to hold it up with your arms?
No, luckily it would hook to the hula hoop and you would be able to walk around.
But how did it hold up? Was it like on your shoulders or?
There was a shoulder part and it was hooked to the hula hoop. And was there something else?
There had to be something to hold it up.
There was something on my head, I think, or around my head. Man, I can't quite remember.
Wow, that's really a foggy memory.
Part of it was getting your arms through. So there was part of it that was laying on your arms, and you had like no range of motion. Your arms were just out in front.
And you're just out there walking around.
You could see out of Battery Boy's mouth. Okay. You know, they made it so you could see there, but if you couldn't look left or right,
no, you're just forward.
So they had somebody walk with you. You know, you had somebody who led you around, and you'd bump into kids because you couldn't see them, and they'd get their pictures and all of that. It was August.
I want my picture with Battery Boy.
It was hot as hell. They would only let me go out for 15 minutes. So you'd go out and you'd do it for 15 minutes, and then you'd spend 45 resting. They'd send you back out for 15. They also had a little fan inside Battery Boy.
Nice.
And it was battery operated.
I was to say, it better be battery operated.
With batteries from somewhere in China.
Not Duracell.
That was the first and last time that I did the promotions.
Was that maybe one of your worst?
It could tie for
Okay, it's one of those.
Yeah, okay. It was great though working at Six Flags. It was just a lot of fun. Yeah, but great way to kind of be introduced to the workforce. Nice. What about you? First job?
my first job really was actually like baling hay for the neighbor. I got paid to do that a couple years in a row.
Right.
So I did that, but like my first where I got a check and whatever I worked at Subway when I was in high school.
Yes.
I did that for...
I also worked at Subway.
Oh, really? Wow.
We're Subway bros.
Yeah. We're sandwich artists.
We are indeed. Yes.
Did you take the test to be certified sandwich artists?
Oh, man, did I?
Do you remember how many cucumbers or pickles?
I remember that I was 19 when I worked at Subway, and that's...
The weirdest thing, when I started at Subway, I couldn't operate the microwave.
Ooh.
Technically. Because it was a commercial microwave, and I was technically too young to operate it.
Wow. That's crazy.
I thought it was the weirdest thing ever. Did they have the crank thing to you put the lettuce in or the cucumbers in and you crank this thing to chop them up? I'm like, I can use that, but I can't use a microwave.
Right.
I could literally slice my fingers off with this thing.
Yeah.
But I can't put something in the microwave. It was the weirdest. There was some weird, regulation, labor laws, whatever.
I made some of the most heinous sandwiches for myself.
Weird combos?
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, I'm taking these meatballs, I'm taking this, all right, we're moving, And you just make nightmare.
It's like those, when you make those sodas out of all the different drinks.
Right.
Yeah, you just put all the weird things on.
Yep.
Yeah, I still do like Subway.
Me too.
God, I keep hitting the microphone today. I'm very expressive with my hands. I'm very animated. There was a little time that I had to take a break from Subway, but I do. I always get spicy Italians. Ooh, that's my always.
Nice.
Every once in a while, I get turkey bacon but I'm always a spicy Italian guy.
Do the meatball or the tuna is kind of where I'm at.
I can't do that.
I know.
I could.
I know. Now I want one. I could go for a foot-long tuna.
Foot-long, not a tuna melt, just a tuna sandwich.
Just a tuna.
What do you get on them? Do you put any?
Everything
fixins?
Except for onions.
Everything,
because onions are the devil's vegetable. Yeah. I'm
kind of a plain lettuce.
Yeah.
Cucumbers.
Yeah.
ranch. I don't know why I'm telling everyone what I get.
Right.
If you want to get me a Subway, my order is
perfect.
a foot long, so I can eat the rest of it later. Or maybe just now.
Yeah. I know.
So that was my first job. Okay. I did that for a number of years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was my first. Oh, wait. Actually, wow. I can't believe I forgot this.
Oh.
My first job was actually, I worked at like a resort because I grew up on Lake Mille Lacs in central Minnesota. Mm-hmm. It's a huge lake, lots of fishing. I worked, I can't remember the name of the resort, but I would help people launch their boats.
Oh, wow.
Because a lot of the people that would come to put their boats in couldn't actually do it. They couldn't back up their trucks to put their boats in, which is really weird to me. So you'd have to like get in and back their boats up, or back their trucks or car, whatever, put their boats in the water. Sure. It was like this whole thing. And,
wow.
And then, yeah. So I did that. That was like one of my first actual jobs. And I had to clean fish.
Ooh.
That was kind of gross.
Yeah.
Wow, how did I don't know. That just like bringing back memories of high school jobs.
It's been time, and it's hard. Yeah, those things.
I do remember that. That was like one of my first actual.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Should we do weirdest or worst next?
I don't know. Now I'm feeling like I don't know what my weirdest or worst jobs were.
Let's do worst so we can kind of get the bummers out of the way before we go into the weird.
Okay, so worst.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to go for this because
I've got. Apparently, I've had a lot of jobs, so I have two for this.
2 worst jobs.
So, number one, I think a lot of people can probably empathize with this. Telemarketing. I did so much telemarketing, and
so
it was just
that's like phone sales.
Yes. Calling people who don't want to talk to you.
Calling people. Yeah. I hate you.
I know, totally. I sold.
Take me off your list.
Everything from like cable TV to like timeshares.
Were you
ridiculous.
good at it?
No, not really.
No,
not particularly. I sold some.
Yeah,
but I mean,
just enough to.
Yeah, I was there for the hourly. I didn't. They were like, "You sell this and you get a commission." I'm like, I don't care about that commission. I was not. No, I just wanted a job. Was basically where I was at, and that or needed a job. I guess
just a job. Yeah. Sometimes that's
telemarketing was just like, it's just this horrible like life sucking thing.
So this is your worst.
Yes.
Okay. One of the tied.
Yeah. And it was just you're talking to people who don't want to talk to you. You're selling them things they don't want or don't really need, and that can weigh on you after a while. When you realize that you're trying to
when people are yelling at you, and it's not fun.
And you're trying to push somebody into buying something that they don't need, they can't afford.
That doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't. So. That was one of those kind of jobs that I always went back to if I had no other options and I needed something quick.
Because you could do it, yeah.
And they hire anybody. Anybody. So
because no one wants to do it, so they'll hire
nobody wants. Yeah, nobody wants to do it. They're like, all right, come on in. And if you didn't show up, I mean, it was not unexpected. People would be there and then they'd go away and whatever. So that was something that it's still. Just horrible.
Were you in like a cubicle farm?
Yes. Yeah, cubicle farm.
That's like my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Cubicles, that was my one thing. I'm like, whatever job I have, I don't want to be in a cubicle.
And most people didn't want to get to know each other because they knew you probably weren't going to be there long.
Don't spend the time. That doesn't sound good at all.
No, it was horrible. It was horrible. The other job, I don't know if worst isn't right, but maybe saddest. I worked at a nursing home for a short amount of time. And I mean, it just, rough, but just being there with people who, are at the end of their lives or who, in some cases, they just didn't have anybody else. And very difficult to see what it's like. To be in those situations. And I did that when I was 17, I think. And that was...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a similar job to that. I worked in adult foster care for people that were living with HIV and AIDS. Mm-hmm. So the services that we did were more end of life type stuff. So it was, anywhere from like doing laundry and doing helping them bathe to doing their meds, helping them, cook and clean for them, like doing all that stuff. It was really hard on me too, emotionally. And
I bet.
Yeah. Because it's like you get to know these people and then, then they're not around and you're like, oh my goodness, it was really rough. Like like you said, it's not maybe the worst job, but it was really draining mentally.
Absolutely.
Like the demands that it put on your mental well-being.
Sure.
Mental well-being was really difficult for me. So I did that. That would probably be one of the
I would say that
quote worst types of jobs. But also it was I learned a ton.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about myself and the disease and all this kind of stuff. So it was good in other ways.
It opens you up in a lot of ways that
because I used to do a bunch of volunteer work in the like prevention of HIV and AIDS when doing a lot of that stuff. So I wanted to learn the other end of this, so
right.
That was probably one of my worst jobs. I was trying to think of like boring worst. I don't know. Like I did security at a bar. Like it was kind of fun and cool, but it was also really horrible. Sometimes you had to clean up after people, deal with really drunk, belligerent people, or just, if like holidays. I hate like St. Patrick's Day. I hate like all those Halloween because of that, because you just deal with so many craziness. But it was also like great fun getting to know people and like you get the regulars and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was just like meh.
Well, now that we've brought everybody down, I think we should move on to the drink portion of the podcast. I think we need to drink. And I'm super excited about this because, well, on one hand, we don't have any beer this time.
Uh-oh.
On the other hand, because we had to be resourceful and creative, I went through my cupboards and brought some things down.
I want to tell them what you brought me.
Yes, you're going to make us a drink.
So apparently I'm making, since I'm apparently the bartender in this thing. Mm-hmm. So the things that he brought me, not even a swallow or a shot of Barrel Hitch American whiskey. So that I'll just drink. What is this? 360 Mandarin orange flavored vodka.
That's right.
That I can't even smell any.
I'm told there's orange in it.
I'm told there's a whisper of orange in there. Mm-hmm. There's Diet Sunkissed orange. Okay. There is the Winco brand pink grapefruit flavored unsweetened sparkling water.
It's not bad.
I'm getting so many text messages. Sorry if you're hearing that buzzing noise. And then bubbly sparkling water, which he thought was lime, but it's actually apple flavored.
It's in a green can.
It's green, so lime, but it's apple.
Right.
So I'm debating. I kind of was thinking apple and orange. Mm-hmm. Like apple orange, but then I was like Diet Sunkissed orange and Mandarin orange. Just keep the flavors together.
Yeah.
Would be easier. So I think we're just going to do that.
Let's do that. Sounds great.
So there's no ice, but that's fine. It'll just.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ice. See, that's why I drink beer.
You forgot all the things we talked about.
We did.
We talked about this kind of stuff before.
We did months ago.
Like all the things you need.
Right.
You need a ice.
Yep.
It'll be cool enough. I don't want to kill you with this. I'll give you a little bit of that. Ooh, look at that color of that Diet Sunkissed.
Look at that. Ooh. Beautiful. It's beautiful. I like it already.
Maybe we should pour a little more of that in there.
There we go.
I made mine a little bit stronger.
You did.
Can you hear that, everyone?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But now we're not going to even be able to taste this Mandarin orange.
Yeah, you might need to add some Mandarin orange just to...
Do you want more of that?
Okay. Please. All right, there we go.
We're still using our B cups, though, everyone.
We are.
Our beer glasses.
Shout out to B cups. Little did they know that drinks could be mixed in the...
Mixed drinks in the B cups. Woo. Now I can smell the Mandarin. No, I'm just kidding. The Sunkissed orange.
Very orangey.
This is a very weird concoction.
Here we go.
I think this is like it's a trashy fruit punch kind of.
Totally. There's some vodka back there. There's some orange.
Yeah, I want to know more. What is this? 360 brand. Oh, that's...
Yeah, Mandarin orange. Say anything good?
360
It
packaging.
has
blah,
Africa
blah, blah.
etched into the bottle on the front. It looks
It's
like
the
Or is
globe.
that-
It's.
Oh, I see. Okay, there's the rest.
I was like,
I see.
what? There's the Americas.
Ah, okay. I
Africa,
was really
Asia,
excited,
Europe.
thinking it was an African vodka or something, but no.
It doesn't say anything.
I'm sure it comes from
Fun.
like Trenton, New Jersey, or somewhere classy like that.
Made with vodka 6 times distilled from American grain and natural flavor. Boop a boo. I don't know.
Yeah, well, whatever. Well done.
Oh, Weston, Missouri.
Hey,
All right, Weston, Missouri. Your 360 vodka is gonna get us
there we go.
loopy.
Something. All right.
I want some of this apple.
The apple. Do the apple.
That's really sweet. Even how's that diet? That taste is really sweet still to me.
Maybe it's the mandarin on top of it.
Mandarin on top of mandarin.
The moral of this story is don't do what I did and grab just whatever you can find.
That's all right. It's fine. It does the trick.
Mm-hmm.
We have to restock the Heavy Conversation beer
We do.
cellar.
Yep. We certainly need more beer. And more of your beer recommendations. So if you're
yes.
listening and you like beer, tell us.
If you want to send
what
us
to drink.
beer to try, we haven't gotten any beer from our listeners in a while.
It's been a little while.
Please reach out to us. We can send you an address to send it to. I don't know where right off the top of my head, but
And you might just get something back from us.
oh yeah, you might get a little
Something.
Chubster Bearskin Heavy Conversation prize pack
right.
thingy
That's right.
thing.
Yep. So, weird jobs.
Weird.
Do you want me to go, or do you want?
I got to think a little bit more.
All
I
right.
mean, I don't know that weird.
All right.
Okay, go.
I've got this. I got two. I've got two. So I know two of each. So as you can see, lots of jobs. So weirdest job. I worked in radio for a long time, and I was a stunt guy. I did stunts for a morning show. I was part of a morning show in the Midwest in Springfield, Missouri, and I guess I was 20 at the time, and I really wanted to be in radio. I had always wanted to be on the radio.
You did stunts for radio.
Yes. So around this time was when Jackass was getting big. It was also around the time that like zany morning shows were starting to be a thing, and they were starting to kind of get more out there and edgy and that kind of thing.
Okay.
And I went to this radio station, this cluster of radio stations, and I went in one day and I said, "I will do anything you want me to do if you hire me."
As you put me on the radio.
And they said, "We will hire you in
Excuse me.
unpaid position as an intern." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." And so I started working for this pop top 40 radio station, doing some things with them. And they're like, we'd like to have you do a couple things with us. And they had me do, some asinine stunts. Then the rock station, their sister station, saw that I was willing to do anything. And
Oh boy. Rock stations are probably more dangerous than the pop station.
And that I wasn't worried about my well-being. And they said, "We'd like to bring you in to have you do some stunts during our ratings period." So it's a 12-week ratings period.
Okay.
The whole idea is get more people to listen.
Yeah.
That makes advertisers happy.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about 12 different things, and basically they laid out all of these different things that I was doing each week, where I would go and I would do whatever.
Like what?
So
I'm still a little lost how you do stunts on the radio.
the radio station that we were at, so they would mic me up, or they'd give me like a cell phone, and I would do kind of a live broadcast while I was doing these things. So one time they put me in a barrel,
Okay.
and they rolled me down 2 flights of stairs.
And they just listen to you screaming and making noises? Okay.
And I was mic'd, so you could hear the barrel
Okay.
crashed into a wall.
And you were how old again? I'm sorry?
I was 20.
20. Okay.
Yeah. What else?
This explains
a lot.
more.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I went skydiving.
Oh boy.
Unfortunately, someone had passed away at this skydiving company the week before I went. So
like
that
they died skydiving, like
Yes.
their chute didn't open or whatever.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So, and so of course I was dumb enough to be like, let's do it. So we went up and did it, and it was phenomenal. It was great.
I've never been skydiving.
Didn't die.
Oh, good.
No,
good to know.
I'm here. I ran
Are
into
there anywhere we can hear these episodes?
they're so old that I don't even know if they're around anymore. That's a good question. I ran into a porn store and bra and panties and got chased out by the proprietor. I walked in and I asked for a magazine, and so I had this. I was mic'd up and I could hear the morning show host telling me what to say. And,
oh, lovely.
So I'm saying it. So the radio listener can hear what he's saying, and then they hear me saying it.
Yeah.
And so I asked for the magazine, and the guy behind the counter, as soon as he sees me, he's like, oh,
just get out.
Come on. Then out of nowhere, a wall blows open, and there was a secret door in this wall. And this lady comes out, and she just like, what the hell are you doing here? And she loses her mind. And I'm not sure what to do. And I'm standing there, and then I hear, get out. The host of the show is like telling me it's time to go. So I run out the door. She's running after me. My accomplice was driving the radio station van. He was in the parking lot, and he had turned it around ready to take off quickly because he knew this was going to go south. Yeah. There was no other way this could turn out. So I run out. She's running after me. I get up to the side of the van, and I try to open the door to get in, and it's locked. And so I'm holding on to the handle.
And he starts going. Of course, classic.
And so she throws her phone at me. It misses and hits this is when phones were more disposable, apparently.
I'm like, what? Okay.
And I got away.
When they were still brick sized?
Yes. But it was a glorious thing. And so I did all these other, that
sounds fun. I want to do that.
It was a lot of fun.
I want to go into a porn shop wearing just a bra and panties, but be on the radio.
Yeah. Well,
see what happens.
Yeah. I think,
talking about body confidence.
It was something else. It was a lot of fun.
They're not going to be no granny panties either.
No, it was a lot of fun. It was a good time to do all of that, to be that young and just kind of willing to do whatever. Yeah. So that was one thing. And I think
that is a weird,
yeah,
but awesome and crazy. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So that was the big thing.
I don't have anything cool like that. Jeez, Bruce.
The other thing, I was a strip club DJ for a very, very short amount of time.
What was the most popular song that they danced to?
There was so much.
Ouch.
I mean, hair metal. There was so much hair metal.
Oh, really?
So whatever.
Where was it? Where was the strip club?
It was in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
And it was it was the most horrifying, if you were basically, I was too young I wasn't getting paid at the radio station. I was technically too young to be in the strip club DJing. So I may or may not have been paid under the table to do the work.
So this was
but it was it was like insanity. Like the whole thing was just so crazy. Just learning how to do that and how, presentation. The ladies work for tips and tips only. And next on the main stage.
You were like the announcer.
Yeah, totally. Totally. So I was doing that, picking the music. All that kind of stuff. A lot of
I thought they always picked their.
Well, in some cases they would have their songs they would come in with.
Do
now this place that I was working at there was not a lot of thought about production. So not a lot of the performers weren't. They weren't quite coming in,
grinding,
prepared. Yeah.
So it wasn't like Flashdance where she has a whole song and
and the water drops in
production. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, sadly there was Jello wrestling one night.
Jello,
I do remember glow in the dark Jello wrestling. I remember that.
No, so you could all you have to do is just put some gin in it,
and it glows.
Gin glows. It doesn't glow in the dark, but it's black light reactive.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, or is it the tonic water?
What was
the heck. Wow, this 360 Mandarin vodka has got me going.
Yeah, it was a crazy. I don't know. It was a crazy experience, and I realized very quickly that it was not what I was looking for, you know.
Well, but you got paid. Though,
I got paid.
So
I was able to pay my rent, so it worked.
Yeah,
you know?
That's
and
all that matters.
Yeah,
and you got to do the stunts during the day,
so it all got the job done.
Yeah. Oh God, I don't even have weirdness compared to that.
I don't know. Did you ever like?
I bartended. Yeah. I worked a lot of retail jobs. I did.
Well, I mean, I feel like
I worked at. I have a weird story. Maybe I mean everyone has weird stories, but
perfect.
I worked. So I used to work at the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota. So it's like, at the time it was the biggest mall. Whatever. Blah blah blah. So I worked at like a couple different places. I was working like 2 or 3 jobs. I worked at this jewelry store, unnamed, whatever. And while I was working at another job, they called me into security. Like they were questioning me about something. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So I go into the security office at this department store that I was working at. And they're like, oh, we have, do you work at such and such jewelry store? Yes. Were you working on this day? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. We have you on tape, in this jewelry case. And I'm like, well, yeah, I worked there. So I was probably in the jewelry case. And they're like, basically trying to accuse me of stealing some sort of jewelry out of the case. And they're like, you're in, you have these unpaid, do you have any unpaid debt and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I do. And it's still unpaid. That's why I'm working 3 jobs. And it was like all this BS trying to get me to confess to stealing jewelry. And I'm like, how about you talk to the lady that just got her boobs augmented or enhanced or whatever the word is. I got a boob job and went on vacation and did all this stuff. And this is her only job. Like, how is she affording to do all that while she only works here? You're just going to get it. Get that little bit of whiskey that's in there.
I'm trying it. I know this is, yeah.
Why did you wash it down?
I will never have a career as a
professional
bartender.
As a bartender. Well, it's fine. So that was a weird story that I'm always like, you have me on tape doing that? I know you don't, because I know that the jewelry store doesn't have video cameras. It was just like a weird story.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I don't have a weird job.
Well, I think we've shared a lot of weirdness tonight.
Okay, I don't know how long we've been going, but I did work for the... I know, that's a bad thing to even talk about. Yep. I worked for the Hennepin County... or not Hennepin County, the University of Minnesota School of Public Health.
Oh.
I did sexual health seminars.
Oh!
Yeah.
Nice.
So I used to talk to... The specific term was men who had sex with men. We didn't call them gay men.
Really?
Yes. Because not everyone identifies as being gay.
Oh,
but
okay.
Whatever. So, but it was all about like sexual health, mental health, physical, emotional, like all this stuff that's wrapped up into your sexual health and what you do sexually. That was sort of a sometimes weird, interesting job.
I bet.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's one of my weird jobs I did.
We've talked about a lot of weirdness tonight.
Yeah. Thank you, Mandarin 360.
Yeah. And Barrel
Hitch.
Yeah. I know. I was trying to be neighborly and leave you a little
swig. Yes. I can take that right out of the bottle. That's how classy I am.
Please.
All right, guys. Thank you for...
Have you had a weird job? Do you have a weird job?
Oh, yeah. Tell us your weird jobs.
Yeah. Or, first jobs, weird jobs. We want to know about what do you do? Who are you? Tell us.
What do you even do?
Why are you listening to us? Yeah. Tell us about your jobs. We want to know what it is you do. Tell us about your weird jobs. Tell us about your first jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, tweet at us your first job.
Yep.
That's what I need you to do right now.
Yep.
At Heavy Convo on Twitter.
Yep.
Tweet us your first job.
Yep.
All right.
There we go.
Make sure you subscribe, share our podcast with your friends,
please.
And you'll hear us on the next week, next Tuesday.
There we go.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.